Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Sabbath School Nugget. Now, before I get into Monday's lesson, I just want to remind you that we love to hear from you. So, please feel free to write us an email or to leave us a comment in the comments section below, and as best we can, we'll get back to you. Now, Monday's lesson brings us back to Egypt. Armed with the assurances and promises from God, Jacob marches his family all the way down to Egypt. Now remember, Jacob is not alone. He has 70 members of his family with him, which is very symbolic when you think about it, because the number 7 is the number of perfection or completion in the Bible. And how complete was Jacob's life when he had his entire family back together again, including Judah and now Joseph. The lesson points out that Joseph wanted to provide for his family, which is perfectly normal when you think about it. But it's also perfectly normal to help your family to secure high-paying and influential jobs when you have the kind of power, that Joseph did. He could have set his family up with high-paying government jobs, but he didn't. Why? Because there was more at stake than their physical well-being. Joseph was thinking of their spiritual well-being also. After all, these were God's chosen people. They had a special calling as a nation, and that calling included not being like the other nations. The last thing Joseph's family needed was to become corrupted by the nation of Egypt. Again, Egypt, like Babylon, was committed to turning people into Egyptians with no regard for the one and only true God. Best to keep the family away from all of that. The one thing I love about Joseph is that he's not ashamed of his family. Egyptians looked down on strangers as inferior, and they looked down on shepherds even more. Yet despite this fact, Joseph introduces Pharaoh and Pharaoh's entire court to his father the shepherd. Imagine the scene. It's the shepherd and the king. The shepherd, by Egyptian standards, is less than a nobody, and the king, he's considered to be a god. And in this story, as the lesson points out, it's the lowly shepherd who blesses the mighty king. In the eyes of Egypt, the shepherd is lower, but in the eyes of heaven, it is Jacob who is higher than the Egyptian king. I think this is what the scriptures mean, in part when it says that all of us are a part of the royal priesthood of God, in which the lowest of God's servants is greatest than the greatest of earthly kings. That's our lesson for today. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you tomorrow.